Greetings, everyone. Joe Morkisky, and here to do a little segment on our own smack. It's my first show, and boy, I'll talk about getting off to a great start. Not here to talk about politics. For those of you who don't like the politics, very happy to hear that. I'm actually here with a great Stoughton resident, Hollywood superstar. We're going to talk about how young people can make a difference in our community and make it to Hollywood. So with me is Kenny Wormald, and welcome, Kenny.
Thank you very much. Thanks
this is going to be a lot of fun for us to sit and chat a little bit.
I'm excited to be home and get to hang out.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing some traveling as well, so it's
a little bit. Yeah, it's nice to relax, and it's raining right now, but I'm not complaining because it's Los Angeles. It hasn't rained in like 6 months, so
really
everyone's complaining about the weather, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. People complain about the rain. Yeah, sure, I like it.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, thanks for coming in. This has really been something. We talked with your mom and dad. I know Ken's mom and dad, and we've talked about how what it was like growing up in Stoughton, going through the Stoughton schools, and now in Hollywood and all over the world teaching dancing, and it's a little bit different, but it must be nice coming home once in a while.
Yeah, I love coming home. It's great. I have 2 little brothers also. They're 20 and 16. So I miss them a lot, so it's always good to come back. And of course my family, and I love my parents, so it's always good. And get a nice warm meal in there from my dad. Yeah, it's always good.
He's a heck of a cook.
He's an amazing cook.
He is. And it's funny that we talk about when you go in, it's gone out to dinner with them, and we sit there and joke about, hey, Ed, you can do better than this. Yeah, I probably could.
Yeah, he's picky when he goes to restaurants because he always thinks he can do better.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about Ed's dad, Ed Wormald. And Melanie, they own the Corner Cafe down in the intersection of Washington Street, and a great little place to go. Food is outstanding.
Best breakfast in town.
If you can get through the truck tire size pancakes.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
It is.
Yeah, I don't even attempt those things.
Well, that's what we'll have to do. Is sometime we'll have to have the Kenny Wormald pancake eating
challenge
contest.
I'll get destroyed. Every little kid will probably beat me.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how big they are, and some people down those things, and then they'll do an omelet or something after. It's like, okay, not for me.
Not me, no.
Yeah, so, but no, so it's great. I'm looking forward to our talk. This was something that when we spoke on the phone recently about how there are, we have some folks in Stoughton that have made it to Hollywood. We have Greg Utanis, who's doing some producing out there, and we had Fred Levy, who was out working with James Cameron.
That's amazing.
So tell me a little bit. This is something people want to know. What happened? How did you get into? What got you to Hollywood from Stoughton?
Well, it started when I was 7. My mom signed me up for a dance class at the Gold School, which is in Brockton, and she just thought I was a very hyper kid, and I loved music, and they always had music on in the house, and I'd be jumping on the coffee table and dancing around and shaking my butt and doing all these little kid stuff, and my mom was like, wow, he really likes to dance. So she put me in a dance class, and I trained there. I fell in love with it. I trained there until I was 18 years old, and then it was time to decide what to do. I knew I wanted to be in the arts, and I knew it was basically between New York and Los Angeles. And at the time, there was a lot of backup dancing in music videos and on commercials, and most of that opportunity was coming out of Los Angeles. So when everyone went to college, I packed my bags and I went to Hollywood, basically.
And then what happens out there? I mean, is it, again, I could pack up my bags and go to Hollywood, but I can guarantee you the only thing they'll put me in is a Fred Flintstone commercial. So
that'd be good. This might be a good Halloween costume idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, but so what do you do? Did you have to meet a manager, or do you get assigned to another dance studio that can promote you? How does that all work?
Well, because I came from the Gold School, and they're an amazing studio. They set me up with amazing training and technique, and someone who used to attend the Gold School moved to Los Angeles like 10 years before me. So she was a dancer and a choreographer, and she kind of had her life set up, but with still ties to home, still ties to the Gold School. So when our teacher, Rennie Gold, called her and told her that a friend of mine, Nick Baga, also moved out with me, said that we were moving to Los Angeles, she said, great, I'll introduce them to my agent. So we actually met with an agent just before we moved there. We just visited California for a week and that's when we met our agent, and they agreed to sign us. So we moved out there in September and already had an agent. So we got pretty lucky with that, and it was because our ties to the Gold School, they luckily my mom put me in an amazing studio. She didn't know much about dance, but she happened to put me at the Gold School, which was, thank God.
Yeah. So when you started the Gold School, is it something that, when the first time you went there, did you say, okay, I'm going to enjoy this? Or is it like, it's okay? And
yeah, I didn't know.
Grow? I mean, or is it something you just took to it like a fish to water?
I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and I don't think my parents did either. I think it was just kind of like an activity, like, putting your kid in baseball or soccer or something just to see if they like it, and then, see what happens from there. But I loved it, and as soon as I performed on stage for the first time, that's when I felt this rush, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do from a very young age too. And it's kind of uncommon for a young male to be a dancer, especially when I was growing up in Stoughton. I was the only boy dancer in the whole town. It was very uncommon. But there was another boy there, and I also had male teachers at the studio, so that kind of inspired me and allowed me to believe that a boy can dance, and it's okay if I liked it,
Yeah. Where was that first show? Where was that first on-stage performance? Do we have a video of that somewhere?
Oh, I'm sure my dad has the footage. He has a million tapes. But yeah, it was probably the dance recital we used to perform over at Brockton High. Yeah. And hearing the audience cheer and feeling that gratifying feeling of you work hard all year and then you perform at the end of the year. It was really cool. It was a good lesson to learn that hard work pays off, and then you get the audience cheering and clapping. Even if we were terrible, because we were only like 7 years old and we probably couldn't do anything, but I knew that I loved it. So. Yeah.
Now we know where your career has gone. I mean, as sure as heck has taken off. But between that first dance performance and getting that, what were you doing when you're out there? I mean, you didn't get something right away. I mean, so what kind of work did you do? What did you do to stay alive and and keep moving? It's pretty tough. I mean, to balance setting that goal and then surviving out there away from home and your own place and all that.
It's definitely tough, and I didn't want to have to call home and ask mom and dad for money. I did a couple times, obviously, when you need to, but it was my goal to not have to constantly be calling back, Mom, can you get my rent? Can you get this? Can you get that? So what I did was I was auditioning all the time for jobs and TV shows or backup dance jobs or commercials, whatever it was. And occasionally you get them, but it takes a while for the ball to start rolling. So in the meantime, I would teach dance. And I grew up at the Gold School, and let me teach there my senior year. So I started teaching there, and then I started teaching at other studios. And by the time I was 18 and I moved to LA, whenever I would need money, I would usually fly back home and set up a couple classes at random studios. And then, as my career progressed as a dancer, you book jobs, you get to work with different artists. I eventually worked for Justin Timberlake. I got to be one of his dancers. Once you do a job like that, then you can teach anywhere. So even now, I still teach. I teach on a dance convention, and we travel to different cities. It goes to a different city every weekend. But if I need money or I'm not shooting a movie or something, that I still teach, and it's always been a great way. It's kind of a backbone for a lot of dancers do it. It's a good way to not have to get a job as a waiter, because there's a lot of those actors or dancers who just you got to get a job. I actually worked at the mall for like a month, but I booked a music video and I quit.
So now, before getting your big role, what did you have many dance opportunities? Did you do work where you were actually paid for the dancing? That you could say, "Wow, this is working."
Yeah.
What was it that kind of connected to you that you said, "Okay, I'm on my way. This is working."
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I mean, if you get to do something that you love and you get paid for it, I think that's amazing. So as soon as I got paid the first job to dance, do something I love and have fun and perform, I was like, okay, I'm in the right place. But it takes a while for you to get enough jobs where you can be financially stable. But I think it's probably when I booked a tour. One of my first tours was with JoJo, who's from Foxborough actually, and I toured with her in Europe and all over the States, and that was a consistent paycheck. That's when I knew that I could make a career out of this. When I was getting consistent money for performing, and some of the older dancers in the industry I looked up to, I saw them buying homes and buying cars, and it wasn't just like a meager way to live, and it was actually something that you could support yourself and have a nice life on and do something you love. So it was kind of the first tour where you got consistent money, where I was like, wow, this could actually be something.
And how long did you do that for the touring?
I toured with her for not quite a full year, on and off for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did that lead to another? I mean, why is that something with chain reaction? You got a bigger
Yeah,
opportunity, or a better
yeah.
opportunity, we'll say?
I mean, I think every job essentially can lead to another job because, whether the choreographer wants to hire you again, or, someone sees you on a live show and they're like, oh, that kid's actually good, I might hire him for the next job. So that it all kind of helps and segues into the next thing. But it's still, even after that, it took a while to get consistent jobs. And but once his name is Marty Kudelka, he choreographed for Justin Timberlake forever. Once he asked me to dance for Mariah Carey, he was also choreographing for her. Once I was in with him in his camp, that's when I felt like I had arrived, I had made it. And a couple of years later, he asked me to do Justin. So it all helps, it all leads. Once you get a job and then your agent's like, oh yeah, well he just did this job, so you might want to hire him for this job. And it kind of just all, it's a slow climb, but it's
But how did
worth
that
it.
feel? I'd say, really, how did that feel when you're dancing for Justin?
I mean,
Mariah Carey. What through your head?
I mean, remember I told you I was addicted to the audience clapping, or that's what kind of, even as a young kid, that's what made me love, performing and connecting with the audience. Well, imagine dancing for Justin at, in the arenas, and you're hearing this audience just roar. It was incredible. I remember when I got the phone call, I was in my apartment in Burbank, California, and Marty called me and goes, hey, how do you think about dancing for Justin? And I was just like, that was, at the time, the greatest phone call I've ever received in my life. And, getting to work with such an amazing artist like Justin and see how hard he works and how humble he is and how cool he is, it was an amazing, amazing opportunity that, I'll never forget.
Yeah, he's had an interesting career as well, from music to movies and anybody who's watched him on Saturday Night Live, you do laugh.
He's hysterical.
He's a funny guy.
He's very talented, and he's a really cool guy. I've worked for a lot of big names, but he's by far the most down to earth. Looks you in the eye when he talks to you. Yeah. He's a humble guy, and he's kind of rich.
Did you kind of rich? What is that? I can imagine what that phone call was like to your parents.
Yeah, I got to perform in Boston too, so that was amazing to get to come home and perform. For the whole city, but also for my parents, where I'm from, and I can't imagine what it's like for them. It's amazing for me, but they made me, so it's got to be insane ride for them as well.
And I think I can talk, speak for a lot of parents out there that when you see your kids doing well, it's a feeling it's indescribable. It's a pride that you just want to burst out of your clothes, basically. And
I remember when I won the AA champs, the Tigers, in Stoughton, and I remember my dad just being the happiest guy, just because we won a baseball trophy. But I can imagine what he feels like now, getting to watch all this cool stuff that I've gotten to do.
No, it's
cool.
It is. It's interesting, and again, it's really nice to see, that a lot of people have a stereotype that because you're from a small town and south of Boston, and what can you do? And you've really taken that, and it's a family effort. The support of your family.
Support of my family was
the
everything.
Encouragement. You're close to your brothers. We're going to see a little video clip. In a couple of minutes here is you were gone and then you came home. Now, was this the clip that we're going to be showing in a minute? Is this after Footloose?
I believe it's before Footloose. I did a show on MTV called Dance Life, and it was basically a reality show following 6 dancers in Hollywood and kind of their all different journeys. And they agreed to fly us home, and they shot me at home in my living room with my parents and at my old dance studio, the Gold School, teaching. And so they wanted to capture, where I came from and who I was and my upbringing. And it was cool that my parents were down to be on TV. I know my dad was a little nervous, but...
Well, as I said, for the record, I tried to get Kenny's dad, Ed, to be with us today, but he declined. And yeah, he's busy at the restaurant.
He likes to be behind the camera.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And but you know, it was a lot of fun to try and get him here.
Oh yeah,
believe me, I was.
Definitely.
I tried.
There he is, right there at the corner cafe.
That's it, at the corner cafe.
Yeah, I come home and he makes me bust tables. I mean, I can't catch a break.
I mean, you go from one point of dancing for Justin Timberlake and Mariah Carey to hey, listen, grab a towel and
I saw the gloves on my hands. I had those gloves on. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, no, it is. So we're gonna bring up the video in a minute, and we'll probably talk over it.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but we were talking about support from the family. I mean, it's everything. You know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was rare for a kid to dance in Stoughton or even in Boston area at the time. I know it's a little more popular now, but it wasn't then. So if I didn't have the support from my family, you know, it probably wouldn't have happened, you know. So, you know, kids used to make fun of me in school, and it's very easy at that age. I remember wanting to quit at one point because of, you know, I was getting made fun of because I was missing baseball, and they're like, why are you missing baseball? And I was like, well, dance and ballet. So it ended up really helping me that my family was so invested.
What gave you? I got to ask you. We're going to the clip now.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was amazing they captured this to me going home because you know, it's a big part of my life being from here, being from Boston, being from Stoughton. It's you know, when you move to Los Angeles, where no one's from where you are, basically, you know, where you come from is a big part of your life. And I'm proud to be from Stoughton. It's cool I got to show it.
What did you get?
That's the old house. Huh?
Well, let's watch this.
And now those little guys are like 6 feet tall. And
I know.
weigh like 185 pounds. And they can kick my butt now.
Steve, how you doing?
That's funny.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Let's see what my dad does here. Oh, he looks natural. All right, not bad.
You guys see it?
Oh yeah. I think we heard him say "Welcome home," so he does talk on camera.
Yeah, that was actual dialogue coming out of him. Yeah, it's funny. It was cool that we got to capture this, though. I remember being excited because they didn't follow anyone else to go home. Anyone else was on the show. Yeah, I was surprised that they wanted to do it, but it was very cool. Look at those little guys.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, I look up to them. It's like
they're
the height.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Wow, I look young.
Yeah, you
too.
look a little different
like
there
a
too.
baby. That earring in my ear. That's funny.
I'm worried now. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, you were worried.
Yeah.
Crying your eyes out when I was leaving.
Well, I wasn't as nervous as I was heartbroken because I knew he would never come back home and move here. It would be
End of my
boring.
childhood.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like for
So
a
what are you doing
parent,
tonight?
their kid
Must
to
be
just,
stuff?
you know, go off to a crazy place like Hollywood and being from a small town like this. But they were supportive.
Yeah.
They were so supportive.
You got to follow your dreams. It's tough, but you know it's a.
You know, and I invested, you know, from 7 till 18. I was at dance 4 to 5 times a week. Here's the Gold School, and that's where I was every day after school, every day on the weekend.
But
So they knew that I worked hard for it. It wasn't just a decision I made in a day. It was pretty much my whole life building up to it. So.
But you know, this is what it's all about. You know, you got a group of kids there. You know, does anyone know Kenny? Of course they do.
Yeah.
It's
It was very cool. I love going home. I love coming back to the studio to teach. And I remember what it's like to be a young kid in those classes and have, you know, someone from New York or someone from LA come guest teach, and how much I looked up to those people and such the impact that you can have on a kid. Even if I just, you know, inspire one of those kids, that's amazing to me. So it's definitely always been a big part of my life to come home and teach and inspire the kids, hopefully to live out their dreams as well and to work really hard because it's not easy. Actually, that boy right there that they just showed, the young kid, his name's David Guzman. David and Jacob Guzman, they're twin brothers. They're from Brockton, Massachusetts. They grew up at the Gold School also, and they just, 2 years ago, they got asked to be on Broadway. So they're newsies on Broadway.
Wow.
And they came from the Gold School as well. And you know, I don't take credit, but I think a little bit of them getting to watch me, you know, take a risk and go try something and believe that you can, you know, do big things is.
This is the one you're going to teach me before we go off the air, right?
I already taught it to you. You're not going to show us here?
Yeah,
you can move the coffee table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'll break something, trust me.
Yeah, that's funny. And honestly, like the fact that MTV aired me teaching led to me getting more teaching opportunities. So it was a win-win for me.
Yeah.
And you know, I got to show that I'm a back home kind of kid, and then it also led to a bunch of studios all over the country asking me to teach. So
The kids meeting you like that, what do they say to you? Other than, hey, thanks, good to meet you. You know, what did somebody say that really got you like, wow, they look up to me?
Well, I mean, I know what it's like to be them in their shoes. You know, like I said, when I was younger and guest teachers would come and they teach you, and just to, you know, just the smallest little compliment from someone that you look up to, like good job or great work, or, you know, just any you know, positivity you can give to a kid, you see how much of an impact it has on them. And, you know, a lot of these kids are very excited when they do meet me, but then, you know, I get to teach them and I get to actually hang out with them. So we get to share kind of a cool, you know, a moment of hard work and sharing art, and hopefully, you know, it just inspires them.
Is the tough part, right?
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, that's the worst part.
Take care. I'll miss you
That
guys.
was always the worst part. But because I got to, you know, do a lot of cool things, and I've gotten to, you know, continuously push myself and do new exciting things, it always makes it worth it to leave, because I know I'm doing not only myself some cool work, but I also am making my family proud. So it's always good to, you know.
Well, you made a whole town proud. I mean, it's nice to see a local guy make it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It's you know, we're all proud of you. And you know, I haven't known you that long, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And as I told you, you know, prepping for today, you know, I'm sitting on the internet and I was like, wow. And got to watch the movie Footloose, and you know, so let's transition. You know, we've talked a lot about your local roots and you know, what got you there, and let's segue into Footloose. I mean, wow. I mean, you know, local guy makes it big. I mean, you know, we've got the pictures up there. I mean, it's, did you ever imagine that was going to be you someday?
No, not at all. I remember when they first announced that they were making the Footloose remake, Zac Efron was the guy who was attached to it. So I never thought there was a chance at all that, you know, they were going to hire anyone else besides him. And then I remember they made some changes. He didn't do it anymore, and they ended up getting a new director. They hired Craig Brewer, who directed Hustle and Flow and Black Snake Moan, which are two really cool kind of gritty films, not very dance teen movies, but Paramount Pictures hired him to take on Footloose and do a new rendition of it, and that's when they opened casting to finding a new guy. They wanted to find an unknown actor, and if he could dance, that was helpful. That's what they were kind of looking for. So, no, I never imagined that I would have been, you know, Ren McCormick in Footloose, because I didn't think there was even a chance. But then once the chance opened up and I got a call to go to the audition, I worked my butt off, and I got with an acting coach and started training heavily. And you know, I knew that if I did well enough in the acting auditions, when it came time to dance and they wanted to see if you know, these kids could dance, that I knew I was okay, because I knew I could outdance all these actors. So I knew if my acting was good enough and I got to challenge the other actors with my dancing in the audition, then maybe, just maybe, I would have the chance. And I mean, they called me. I remember I was golfing with my friends. I was playing par 3. And I remember like throwing my golf club and running around like an animal. But it was an amazing phone call that I'll never forget.
Yeah, what was the call of your mother or father like?
Well, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. They said, don't call anyone, don't tell anyone, because we're going to do a press release the following week. And that weekend was, it was Father's Day. So I was like, I gotta tell them. But my dad's notorious for telling the whole family, like Facebook or whatever it might be. So I'm like, okay, Dad.
That's a proud father.
No, he's very proud. I'm happy that he's proud. But if I didn't want Paramount to be like, hey, how does, you know, why is the Stoughton Journal putting out this paper saying, you know, I thought it was a secret. So I called my dad and on Father's Day, and I got to tell him that I booked, you know, Paramount lead in a movie, and yeah, it was a trip. But, you know, I got the call, but it was still, I still felt like there was this huge, you know, I've said it before, like a mountain to climb. I got the opportunity to climb the mountain, basically. So I was excited, but I knew I had a ton of hard work ahead of me. It was a success, it was a win, but there was a lot more. And but getting that chance made me work harder, and it inspired me to be, you know, as good and the best I could possibly be. So not only was it a great opportunity, it also made me better at, you know, as an actor, and I learned a lot, just you know, business-wise, and it was a trip. It was it was a very fun ride.
That's the things, you know, it's funny to ask is that, you know, now we're asking, you know, Kenny Wormald, Stoughton guy. What does Kenny Wormald think when he's like, man, I just landed this thing?
I mean,
You know,
it's
what's
surreal.
going through your head?
It's surreal. Even like, you know, nowadays, like I'll stop for a second, take a breath, and realize that I've done some really cool things. And it's, you know, when you live in LA and you're focusing and putting all your work, it's like, here's a little clip from a Footloose rehearsal.
Okay. And who's that dancing with you?
That is Julianne Hough.
That's your co-star?
Yep. She's not too bad to dance with.
Yeah, it was, you know, when we were watching this, and I noticed that there's, you know, and I'm not a dancer, and anybody who knows my physique knows I'm no dancer. You really, you know, you could see the chemistry there. I mean, you two were having fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's,
I mean, you know, she's a dancer, I'm a dancer. It was natural for us to just kind of boogie, and, you know, she's a sweet girl, and she likes to have a lot of fun when she performs and when she dances, so it made it easier for me to have fun and open up. But yeah, we didn't even really meet. We just got asked to dance with each other in the audition. She already had the job. They were trying to find they were trying to find my role, and they made me, I said, hello, nice to meet you, Julianne Hough. Dance.
It must have been interesting.
Be good. They're like, just go, be good. And I was like, okay. And, you know, as soon as the song came on, I think we were fine. But you know, that's something that I think dancers can do. They can turn it on, and when it comes time to, you know, go, then it's, you know, something we were able to do. And luckily, like I said, she's so talented that it made it a lot easier for me.
Yeah. So what's on the roadmap for Kenny Wormald from today on? What are we working on? You know, I know there's some internet things you've been involved with. I mean, you really seem to be like often like so many different areas, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's but you know, so what are you working on?
Well, my main focus predominantly is acting, and it's to get more films. The past few years, I've shot a few films, some are smaller independent movies, but it's really good for me as an actor to kind of build up my street cred as an actor, because, you know, before Footloose, no one knew who I was. And then now, since Footloose, they kind of just think that I'm the dance kid, you know, and I want to stray away from just being the dance kid. I want to be a serious actor and not just do movies that involve dancing. So the next one on board is, it's called Love and Mercy. I shot a movie. It's about the Beach Boys. It's actually about the life of Brian Wilson, the lead Beach Boy, and I play Dennis Wilson, one of the Beach Boys. And I actually just went to Toronto International Film Festival where the movie premiered, and it was incredible. There's some amazing actors in it. Paul Giamatti's in it, Elizabeth Banks, Paul Dano, John Cusack is in it. It's a really cool movie. They show the 1960s version of the Beach Boys, which is where we're in that part of it, and then they cut to in the 80s when Brian Wilson was dealing with some mental issues and some problems. And it's really kind of a cool, dramatic film, but the part that I'm in is the 1960s version, which is very fun and very, I mean, the detail that the filmmaker went to and put his effort into finding the exact wardrobe, and we're wearing wigs. I mean, I have a 1960s wig on. It was an amazing opportunity, and I'm not dancing in the film, which is a goal of mine, to do films where I'm not just, you know, the dance kid, and I'm really excited about it.
You know, when we were talking, I was telling you, and I mentioned to you, both your mom and dad, that when I watched Footloose, because it wasn't my type of movie when it came out in my generation.
In '84, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I'd been married for just a year, you know, and it just wasn't my. But when I watched it, and we talked about this, that you were natural at it. I mean, when I watched it, you really played the role that you could believe that this was this kid's life. This is what he was dealing with.
Thank you.
Know, and that's an art right there to be able to do that. We talked about some, you know, Tom Hanks roles. I mean, some of the things he played, you actually
amazing.
get absorbed into the movie.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't your type of movie, you
Right.
get absorbed into it because you want to see how it's going to play. And that's the whole thing. I got to commend you. I mean, you've got that talent.
Yeah. Well, I think growing up on stage and always dancing, and you know, not every dance I always did was a smiling tap dance, like somewhere a little bit more dramatic and a little more, you know, you have to kind of play different characters on stage. Each dance you do, each performance you do, you kind of have to switch it up and be someone else. And I think years of that definitely helped with the acting. Also, the director of the film, Craig Brewer, was tremendous with me. He worked very hard with me, and you know, it was kind of our journey together. You know, this movie was basically on our shoulders, the director and I. So he was really good at connecting with me and making me feel comfortable on set. And yeah, I mean, a lot of hard work, and you know, hopefully it paid off. So
Here's the one we were talking about, the premiere. I know we have a picture we can put up there as well.
of the Footloose premiere.
Yeah, the Footloose premiere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been something that was surreal.
It was amazing. Oh, yeah, there's a photo. Yeah.
I mean, you know, to be walking the red carpet, I mean, we see it as clips on the news, you know, and to be actually experienced. Who did you meet that night? I mean, what was that like? I mean,
I mean, the coolest part about that night was that my family was there. You don't see it in the picture, but they're like right to the right of that. Like my mom, dad, and both my brothers got to come to the big Hollywood Footloose premiere, and I know they were wide-eyed. I mean, I was. It was an amazing experience, and just to walk down the red carpet and have like hundreds of photographers and people interviewing you and they're screaming your name, it was almost scary. It was a little overwhelming, and you know, but we had a great team. Like I had a great publicist, so they hooked me up with an amazing suit and people who did my hair and all sorts of stuff. It was a trip. It was very, very strange and very amazing, and yeah, I mean, it went over well too. So it was a fun night, and we had a nice party afterwards. It was,
did your father critique the food?
Yeah, he's the hors d'oeuvres. He's like, bacon's not really done right yet.
The best stuffies there are.
Yeah,
It's amazing. It's amazing. But I know there's going to be more of those in the future for you.
Yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
It's
That's
nice
the goal.
it's nice, you know, from the sidelines to watch the career and watch, you know, all these great things happen. You know, and people don't realize all the hard work that goes into it. It's not like somebody's lined up asking you if you want to work for them.
No,
you know,
you have to work for it. And like I said, now proving myself as an actor, that's not just a dance kid. That's kind of the battle that I've been working hard at the past few years, and it's starting to pay off, which is good. But yeah, it's not all easy. You can't just move to Hollywood and think you're going to be successful. You have to work hard and be ready for the challenges that come your way.
And I would imagine, you know, we were talking earlier, I would imagine some of these reality shows kind of challenge that when you actually have, I mean, we're putting people on TV because of the dumbest things.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to be talented to be on TV anymore.
Yeah, but, you know, it's a competition of what you're dealing with. I mean, so it must make the opportunity even, you know, harder, because, you know, some of the things that are out there.
I mean, if reality shows didn't exist, there'd be a lot more opportunities for actors, probably, you know, so it can be a little bit annoying. I know some of them are very entertaining, and I mean, I even did one myself. The MTV Dance Life was a reality show, sort of. It was kind of forced reality, but yeah, it's a different age, you know. There's a lot of mess on TV, and I know people are entertained by it, but as long as, you know, we still have real film and real TV shows and real actors and real performers, I think it will be all right. Hopefully the reality thing will slowly dissipate.
It gets old.
Yeah, there's good reality though, but then there's some just nonsense. That you
but you know,
that's the stuff people watch. Stuff.
Exactly.
The mindless, like
But so we did talk about, you know, some of the things you've got in the future. You know, there were other movies that you've actually gone out to, you know, to be a part of. I mean, do you do auditions?
Yeah,
is this
I'm constantly.
It's something there's like a long list out there, and you go out and find out what's right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I have an agent and a manager for all my acting stuff, and I audition all the time. I auditioned last week for a couple things, and it's a constant grind, a constant battle, and but it's fun, you know. And if you get 99 no's, like leave the room, no thank you, but one yes.
But you got to be ready. Okay. You got to be ready for the 99. Hopefully it's only.
Yeah, you got to.
Hopefully it's not
so
99. It's 2. You know, or 1.
No, absolutely.
You know?
I'm used to, you know, going up for something, and then, you know, if there's something not right. There's many reasons why someone could not get a job, and I stopped taking it personal years ago. It's something you kind of just have to go in and do your best, and if it doesn't work out, forget about it. On to the next one.
But your dance as well is still a major part of your life. You're doing some big time traveling. Tell us a little bit about your dance travels.
Yeah, I've been teaching for the past few years for a company called Break the Floor. They own a few different conventions. One of them is called Jump. Another one is called Nouveau. And basically there's a tap teacher, a ballet teacher, a hip hop teacher, contemporary, and all from Los Angeles and New York, and we all go to different cities every weekend and teach for the local kids there. I used to attend them as a kid. I used to go to dance conventions and take class from these choreographers from New York or LA, and I remember how impactful it was and how inspiring it was. So I'm still doing that. I'm still dancing and still choreographing and teaching. I'm never gonna stop dancing. Even if I wanted to, my body just is always moving and twitching. Yeah. I'm at the grocery store, I'm like dancing as I get water bottles or asparagus. I'm like, I'll never stop dancing.
Yeah, but if they knew who you were in the aisles, I guarantee you'll get people to stop.
Yeah, no, it's probably better they don't, because then they'll make me dance.
Yeah. So now, now you're home. You're home with mom and dad and your brothers.
Yeah.
What are you doing kicking around Stoughton? What's the Stoughton Kenny gonna do?
Well, Stoughton, usually I just get to relax when I'm here. It's like my downtime until my dad makes me clean dishes at the corner cafe.
Which will be when? Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I'll probably be there tomorrow, busting tables and pouring coffee. If you like,
And we should say tomorrow is the 23rd, Thursday.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're going to air this and people will get to know it.
Yeah.
But,
not too early though. I'm still on that West Coast time. My dad tries to get me in at like 8, and I'm still sleeping.
Yeah. Well, you can bring out some of those truck tire pancakes to people. Be great. And they'll be like, I know him from somewhere. Where do I know him from?
Yeah. I'll refill your coffee. Do a little pirouette.
Yeah. It keeps you level though, right? Keeps you level to who you really are.
If I acted Hollywood back home, my dad would give me a good old whack. Or my friends too, all my boys from high school, I'm still friends with them. Yeah. That was one thing that kept me grounded. It's very easy in Hollywood to kind of lose yourself a little bit, and especially when you do a big job like Footloose, there's a lot of yes men, a lot of people that's making sure that you're okay. Yeah, do you need this? Do you need that? And I see how some of these younger actors or singers get carried away with it. But luckily I've had a good support system here at home, here in Stoughton. All my friends, if I'm like, hey, get me a Diet Coke, they're like, get it yourself. As long as I still have that in my life, then I'll never
I'd like to see that one when you say to your dad, get me a Diet Coke. Yeah, exactly.
No. Yeah, I can't say it on this show what he'd say, but
but
you can imagine.
Nice. And we're talking a little bit about trying to do some things back in Stoughton as well.
Yeah.
There's and I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come over here and talk a little bit.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And that was the whole idea, is that we need to do more to reach out to youth. And let them know that. Basically, the world is at your foot, right at your foot. Your feet, rather.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. It's just some things take a little longer.
Absolutely.
But you can make it. And just give us an idea. What kind of people do you meet? Stars. You must rub elbows with people, in that network.
Yeah. I've met a lot of people. Name someone. I probably have met them or passed by them and or worked for them. Like the Justins, the Mariahs, the Jennifer Lopez, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. I've come across a lot of big, huge stars, and like I said, like Justin, I feel like where he's from, his home, his support system is strong, so it allows him to still be a good person. Some of those people that I just named aren't necessarily the nicest people in the world, and get carried away with certain Hollywood attributes or whatever, and kind of lose yourself. But I think if you're from a good place, a good strong place with a good family, then you can be okay. And like you said, the world is at your feet. If you work hard, whatever you want to do, I think, no matter where you're from, even from a small town like Stoughton, if you work hard enough and believe in yourself, and I think anything is possible.
It is. It's truly. And you mentioned, who doesn't know Britney Spears? And to be, being a part of that organization, and when she's up dancing, doing a show, and you had a role there in bringing that, it's sort of an extension of yourself.
Absolutely.
You're contributing to not only your own career, but the careers of others.
Yeah. It's a cool responsibility to have as a backup dancer. You're a part of the show. You're part of helping Justin or Mariah or one of these people make their show better, make it more entertaining, and it's cool to have a little piece of it.
Yeah. That's it, because it doesn't happen. We can accomplish a lot as individuals. But something like that, a show like that can't go with just one person.
No, not at all. Even like Footloose, you watch the credits and there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names that go into it. And it's really cool to think you're a part of that, and these people get paychecks and they get to go home and feed their kids, or, you know, even if they're caterers or if they're just, you know, working the lights or whatever it is. It's like such a team effort to finally have this final product at the end. It's cool. It teaches you a lot about teamwork and how it's not about one person, because you could, you know, quickly be replaced if you're not humble or you're not doing your job right or something.
It must be a pretty cool feeling though to see, you know, we're sitting here with some lights on, and you know, I need all the light and makeup to make me look halfway decent. But you know, when you're out there and you're in Hollywood and you see these lights and you're like, wow, I'm the star of this.
Yeah,
It must be really, you know, something you get caught up with really and say, wow, pinch me, because this can't be
Yeah,
happening.
I mean, I've had a few pinch me moments where it seems surreal, you know, because I grew up watching stuff like this and watching music videos and going to concerts and going to the movie theater, and then all of a sudden you realize it's your big head on the screen and you're like, oh my God, it's crazy. And to hear audiences cheer, even in the movie theater, a few times we'd go to different cities and watch the film with just people from whatever city we were in, and you know, it was definitely a shocking moment.
Here's
but
the
cool.
one. Did you ever get to meet Kevin Bacon?
You know what? I never met Kevin Bacon, although he tweeted us. He tweeted me and Julianne, and he sent us a tweet message. But my dad met him. I danced on Good Morning America in high school because we traveled with this, like the tap dance Olympics, basically. So, and we won over in Germany. So they asked us to be on Good Morning America. And my dad went to the bathroom at ABC or NBC, whatever the studio was in New York City, and Kevin Bacon was at the stall next to him, and my dad felt awkward, but he had to get a picture, and he ended up getting a picture outside of the bathroom.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that must have been
in
interesting.
the stall. That would have been a little weird. No, he got a picture with him, and cut 2 years later, I'm playing his role. It was kind of funny little. It was weird.
Yeah, that's funny. But no, that's great. Well, listen, I think we'll start to, you know, I think we've covered a lot, and you know, it's, again, I can't thank you enough, and it's, I'm looking forward to trying to do something in town where we can bring some kids together.
Yeah, inspire the kids to be part of the arts, or do anything fun for them, and
We'll
let them see that, you know, even if you are from a small town like Stoughton, that you can dream big, and you can do it. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Kenny.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you so much, you know,
Appreciate
for being with us today.
Yeah,
And
anytime.
you know, we're going to keep up, and you know, we'll expect a real long invitation list on the next premiere. You know, I
Gotcha.
can think of a few names that we'd like to add to that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
trust me, you don't want me out there. I'll be the one that's elbowing people with an
Yeah.
autograph book.
Yeah,
Hey, you got to sign this.
Who's
for
this
me.
guy? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He's
You
a
know,
he's a friend of my father, and
Yeah.
then your father gets mad for even saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, he's not.
Yeah, I'll have my Corner Cafe T-shirt on there, right? Put the little bow tie. We'll be doing good. We'll have a little fun at it.
That
you know?
sounds good.
They'll say, Kenny, you were a great actor, but we don't need that guy around
Yeah,
anymore.
who's that? Is that your manager? Fire him. No.
Yeah. No, that's my. You know, everybody has that uncle. I'll be that uncle.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's my uncle. You know? So,
Sounds good.
great, Kenny. Thank you so much, and
Yeah, thank
folks,
you.
thank you for joining us. We hope to do some more interesting shows. If you have any ideas, you know how to get me. I'm in the book, and feel free to reach out. There's a lot we can do to spotlight Stoughton. We have a great town, a lot of good people trying to make a difference, and Kenny is definitely a shining example of a good part of our town and what a good family support system does, and you know, great things for coming. Yeah, so again, thanks, Kenny, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.